Welcome to the Non-Standard Podcast. I'm your host, Manny Lampson. If this is your first time listening or your 50th time listening, this is what to expect on this episode. We dive into the concepts of developing your leadership toolbox. Why do you need this? You need this in any situation to help manage, lead, and control, and ultimately win. How do you do that? You can't use the same form of leadership in everything you do. So every episode, we dive into my leadership philosophy. We dive into the story and the background of the person we're talking to. And we also dive into some leadership traits I have accrued throughout the years. And then we also follow it up with a book review at the end. So you're getting a wide range of leadership topics and traits that you can add to your kit. So without further ado, let's go into the recap of this episode. And afterwards, if you love it, like it, share it, follow it, give us some feedback because we're only just getting started. On this episode of the Non-Standard Podcast, I'm joined with a great friend, Ashley Taylor. She is a client of mine within the First Form app. So yes, I help people track their macros and get amazing results, and I bring them on my show. I've had Aaron on my show. He's not my client, but he has seen great results, and we've talked about his journey. I bring Ashley on because weight loss is leadership. Leading by example is a huge way to show leadership. And exercise and physical fitness in a weight loss journey is a great example of that. So I bring her on to tell her story. It's a shorter episode. We battle through some hiccups on technology with internet connection, but please bear with me, and I hope you enjoy the episode. And if you have any feedback, please let me know at the end. Go out there and enjoy it. Let's go. All right, y'all just heard the intro with my great friend Ashley that I've got to know over the few years recently. With that being said, every time I start an episode, we always start with the 3 H's. So hometown, heroes, and hardship. And Ashley, this is for people to get to know you a little bit, get the juices flowing. Even though we've already talked before, we've been talking really for the past few years every day. But just to let me hear you, and then we will dive into a little bit about what you do, where you're at in your life, what brought you here, and then how you're crushing it. Sound good? All right. What are the 3 H's of Ashley?
So my hometown is basically Sulphur, Louisiana, half of my life, and then Westlake, Louisiana. Born in Lake Charles, Louisiana, so I've been in this area. Of course, we've moved umpteen times in my life between these cities. And so, yeah, that's pretty much that. My hero, I guess I would just have to say God is my hero because throughout everything I've been through in my life, if it wasn't for him, then I would not be sitting here talking with you today. So I know that that's truly who's got me here. Hardships. I've been through many of those. So I was pregnant for my son at 15, got married, got divorced at 18. Immediately I started working and dropped out of school, got my GED. Through that, just trying to kind of raise Dallas by myself and with the help of my parents, of course, financially. And I went to massage therapy school. I got my massage therapy license. I did that for a little while. And of course, that comes with having to have a clientele. Which is in this area, if you're already established, you're pretty much, that's who you have, and good luck getting new clients. So I decided to change my direction and do it traveling. So I would travel to people's homes or whatever have you. Of course, I have rules and regulations for that, but that basically happened because all of my health issues that I have. I've always been with female issues. I've always been overweight. I've always been having to have surgery. I've had 8 surgeries, and I'm only going to be 32 on the 13th. So that's been a time. And I have to have a full-time job that has insurance, provides healthcare, of course, take care of me in Dallas. So just really navigating through that, home issues with my parents, and mental health. I have mental health issues. And so, just battling that every day. But at the end of the day, The hardship is figuring out how you're going to deal with all of these things to make it a positive outcome or progress in life versus letting it define.
Most people will lead with like a hardship that's like one moment of their life, but like you mentioned, it's not that it's continuing, but what you're seeing is like as we work, there's always going to be hardships. So it's never just like you hit a hardship and then there's like none, right? It's just like it doesn't work like that. We've seen that in the journeys we're on when it comes to weight loss or anything like that, or a new job, where you don't just hit like a peak and then it stops. It sort of just continues, but you have to be ready for it. So let's talk about the journey that we took together as far as the health and wellness side. So what got you down there? What got you started? Did you try anything before? So for those listening who may be looking to start their own journey, or maybe try to, because sometimes it's always good to hear what is hard about weight loss journeys, so you know what to expect. So what did you try? What got you started, and what has helped you stay consistent?
So this is my probably fourth and final weight loss journey for the rest of my entire life. I have no intentions to ever go back to what I was before, as long as I can maintain my medications, movement, as long as I'm willing and able. So what got me onto this fourth and final journey is basically the hurricane had hit, but right before that I was doing Beachbody. And I loved Beachbody. It's really nice to have somebody that you can work out with while you're watching them in the comfort of your own home, and nobody can see you, nobody can laugh, nobody can do anything. So I got pretty good at that, and I really think that's what carried me through Hurricane Laura, because I literally worked for 28 days nonstop. Had I not been in shape for that, I don't know if I could have made it. Well, going through like living situations, we were traveling to like 4 different homes, just displaced because a tree fell through the house. So we were displaced, just trying to make it work, working and things like that. I wasn't able to fully like prep my meals. So we were eating out. I thought I was doing a good job of moderations and changing like fried to grilled, those types of things. But it wasn't until starting with First Form and actually through Jessica Prater, shout out, thank you. It wasn't through until she was like, you really need to get on with First Form. Manny, he's real life. He's not some robot that's going to try and coach you through. Like, you can have meetings. Y'all can come up with a plan. You track all your food, even down to the sauces and whatever. And I was like, I'm telling you now, I'm not measuring no seasoning, because this is Louisiana and I'm not eating bland food. So she laughed about that. And then, so anyways, I started, we had our first initial meeting. 2 weeks before our meeting, I went to the doctor. I was referred to this doctor, and she is basically, she's a nurse practitioner, but she specializes in like hormone therapy, finding out the root cause of what you're going through, especially for women that go to these doctors and they just tell them they're fine just because their levels are within a normal range. And so I started First Form. I had lost 12 pounds before I went to her, just by counting macros. And at first I was like, there is no way that I can keep eating all of this food. Like, because truthfully, I've never eaten that much food in my life. And so, eating all that food was crazy. I lost like 14 pounds. But understanding the science behind it, you are giving your body what it needs for your weight, for your composition, I guess, to say better. And so I went and saw her. We did some lab works, found out I was insulin resistance, on the verge of type 2 diabetes. My hormone levels were in the trenches. And she was like, I really don't know how you're moving. I was like, well, that's why I'm here, because I feel like I'm dying. And so that just comes with females. Females, if you're out there and you have had complete hysterectomies or whatever at a young age. Don't think that you're Superwoman and you can go without these things until the end of time, because it really affects you mentally and physically. That's first thing. Second thing is count your nutrients, because that really shows you what you're what you're putting in your body. And then movement, even if it hurts, just move. You have to. And the challenges through that, Manny, job changes, mental health, relationship changes, friends, family, that all affects you. Struggles if you have children, something that they're going through, you help them with that, and then just basically show them that you can do it. It's not easy at all. So if you think it's going to be a breeze, you're in for an awakening. And I know that the scale does not matter, but it matters to me.
Cover a couple topics from there to emphasize on for people listening that are sometimes misconceptions when it comes to weight loss. So you mentioned Beachbody, which is great, but you sort of jumped into what a lot of people do is they jump into exercise first. They're, hey, to lose weight, I just need to exercise more. Like I tried to do that. Let's see, I deployed in 18, 19, and that was one of like my things, right? Like I'll just exercise more and continue to eat whatever and I'll lose weight. Well, it didn't work. And then you also mentioned eating more to lose weight. People are probably listening like, wait, that doesn't make sense. How are you doing that? And then we found out most females are generally eating a little bit too less, just not enough protein. And so when you bump up those little areas, like you said, your body's going to have the energy to lose weight. It's a weird concept for those listening. Sometimes you have to eat more to lose more weight because your body's probably already has been in a position to where it's just holding on to everything you eat. So it's trying to survive. So that's why you're slowly gaining weight. And you also talked about you have to show those around you you're doing it. Too many times there's a lot of talk about it. It's a lot of this culture we're in now where we'll talk about wanting to lose weight. We'll talk about doing this. And most people are used to the talking where they don't expect us to show them. But you've shown people, man, and I'm really curious on what your family and friends have thought over this past year and a half of it. Like, was there ever a point where they were sort of like, hey, you're good where you are, like you're good, you don't need to keep losing weight, or you're beautiful the way you are. Like, what did you ever have any of that? Or
actually, it's crazy you say that, because a lot of people are like, I think you look good. Don't lose too much of this or that. And I'm like, guys, y'all just don't understand. It's not about any of that. It's about how I feel within my body. It's about not wanting to have all of these diagnoses. Like, do you people realize that I take 13 medications a day? And who wants that? So they know me. They know how I am. I'm just that person that if I have my mind made up and I'm on that path, nothing is going to tell me otherwise. I will look at you. I will say thank you for the offer, but I'm not having it. You can ask my mom. You can ask Brian. You can ask Dallas. You can ask anybody. Now, it's been 3 years, Vanny. So now I'm at the point where I know when to stop, and I know that I have control over how much of a treat I want to put in my body, or how much is too much, things like that. Just starting out, I was super strict. They understood. They supported me. I did have those people that were like, you can have something one day or whatever. But I had to stand stern and just tell them I cannot do it, because the way that I am, if I go off track, then I'm off. I'm not getting back on. And I cannot do that right now. And, eventually they understand. At first they don't. But if you just stand your ground and they understand the why behind it, they'll hop on board, or they're just not support for you, and they need to go. They need to go.
I love how you said you have control now. Like, that is so powerful to hear people say they have control of really food, right? Which is it's one of the toughest crutches for a lot of people to overcome, because, you're you're 30 years old, so you had 30 years of maybe not having control of that. So for you to get the control is really, really powerful. And I had the same thing happen along my journey, you know, like I only lost 45 pounds, but when I started losing the weight, my parents and my friends were like, Manny, why are you trying to get so skinny? You know, like, you're fine the way you are and all this. And you literally sound like you were saying the words coming out of my mouth. You were like, I want this. I know how I feel. I feel amazing. I can move better. Like, it was just all that little thing about me where I was like, man, you know, like, and it wasn't that I was, I guess, really stiff or rigid or anything. I just, man, it just feels better. Like, you just ultimately feel better. My kids loved it because they were seeing, and I think that's why it was great. And obviously Dallas is a lot older, so he understood a lot more. My kids were still young, so they didn't understand the full transformation, but they saw it and understood it. They understand it now. Like, they know, like, the work you put in really matters. I definitely lost friends and family throughout, you know, that I don't speak to as much because they thought I was crazy, you know. They're like, what the heck, Manny? Like, why'd you stop, especially being in the military and not drinking? Like, that was huge. There are people that are probably still like, oh, what, he doesn't drink? Like, that's weird. And I'm like, dude, like, everything I read about alcohol in general, I'm just like, yo, this is crazy.
So
yeah,
the
did you have
crazy
anything to
thing
add?
is, yeah. So the crazy thing is, I don't mean to interrupt you. You know, people do not need alcohol to have a good time. You know, and I'm not saying don't drink anything because I do occasionally, but it's literally like
Yep.
one drink, and you know, I don't like to be altered. I don't like to feel out of my body. I definitely don't want to get sick. Hello. So, you know, it could just cloud your judgment, things like that. That's how I personally feel about it. But you really don't need anything to have a good time. You can really just absorb the moment. And if you're not happy in what you're doing, you just say, I'm really not enjoying myself, and take off.
Let's dive into my leadership philosophy that I talk about a lot because I think it'll apply a lot to what we're talking about with just the health and wellness side of things. So for those listening, and if you've listened before, you've heard my 4 leadership philosophies: lead by example in all you do. To be selfless, you have to be selfish. Build relationships based off trust and care. Challenge the road in front of you. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. So the first 2, lead by example in all you do, and to be selfless, you have to be selfish. How did those apply on your journey?
I want to lead by example by basically showing whoever's watching me, because apparently I have a ton of people watching me that I didn't even realize. They were like, oh man, you make me want to do better, this and that. So basically, you just have to keep in the back of your mind that, okay, say you're out at the gym and you're on the Stairmaster. I go for the Stairmaster. I love the Stairmaster. I'm just saying. And people are watching you or whatever have you. Like, always just do something that you think other people can do, that you show them it's not too hard. You just have to try it. I always want Dallas to know that he can do anything that he sets his mind to. I am going into so I was automotive career, massage therapy, still in massage therapy. You know, Edward Jones investments, now going to the sheriff's office. And that just shows, like, that's a lot of different careers. And so, I mean, I've been in management, things like that. Leading by example. If you think you can't do it, you can do it, especially in the health and wellness part of it. You just have to try it. And if I can do it, you can do it.
I'll just add on really quick for people listening. People are always watching. We will never know. That's what's funny about journeys is, a lot of us probably wish people would tell us throughout our journey, like, hey, I'm watching you, because then, we'll maybe work harder or do more. And so it's funny. They always wait till you get there, right? They wait till you get to that point at the end of your journey, or you stumble or something, and they're like, hey, I'm rooting for you, and you're like, bro, where were you like 3 months ago when I was on the struggle bus trying to get through this dang thing. Like, that's when I need you. I don't need you now when I'm here. I've lost 100 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm changing jobs. Like, yo, I already forgot about you.
But I tell this to Dallas all the time, especially with him being in high school and in football. He has had a social life more than I ever did in school. Even though I talked to basically everybody, I never really had like my people. He has, his whole football clan, like from a freshman, he's had seniors, he's had juniors, sophomores. I mean, they've all kind of taken him under his wing. So initially he's invited to their graduation parties. He's invited to Friday night hangout, bonfire, whatever. I've always told him, Dallas, you have to keep in mind that anything that's posted on social media, anybody that is you don't know what these people's position are. You don't know who they know or the contacts that they have. Everything you do can be placed on you. It can reflect how that person sees you. So you have to keep that in the back of your mind. If you think something is a bad idea, you don't do it. If somebody's disrespecting your wishes, you don't want something videoed or whatever have you, and you know it's a bad environment, you have to kind of pay attention to that and control that, because literally everybody's watching you. Somebody could be a scout for a national whatever. You don't know. Not everybody's going to tell you everything about themselves. So keep that in the back of your mind. Same thing with weight loss. Same thing with your health. If you know that anything could be possible, like, excuse me, whoever thought I'm going to be on Manuel Lampson's podcast? I mean, that's amazing. And if I hadn't have started this, I wouldn't be here.
Yep. Let's dive into the second one, which is to be selfless, you have to be selfish. So what does that mean to you? What would it have mean before you started your journey? And how has it sort of transitioned now?
I'm a giver, naturally. I'm a giver, and I would not put myself first for anything. If I go to the store, Dallas needs this. Mom needs this. So-and-so, dad, friends, whoever, they need that. I really don't need it. So I'm just a giver by nature. And I really had to say, if I don't do this, then I'm not going to be able to do those things. I'm not going to be able to give them things I feel like they want, or I'm not going to be able to give them my time or my love, because I won't be here. I'll be dead if I keep going this direction, just not taking care of myself. So you have to, it's a mental thing, you have to work on your personal development and just realize that it's not necessarily because you want to be rude or you don't want to do this or you don't want to do that, but you have to prioritize yourself, or else you're not going to be able to do those things. So basically, the personal development and perception. I always feel like perception is everything. Look at it from different angles and really dive into what you believe.
Selfish is to give. That's what I took from there. I love the way you worded it. I think the way you worded it is perfect for those who are like you in that careful giving manner. They are nervous to be selfish because they love to give. They love to help. But just like you said, you can't help or give unless you're fully there for yourself. I think that's an important thing for people to consider, is for us to give more or give better, we have to give to ourselves. I love the way you worded it. And I think it's going to mean a lot for those listening who are definitely that very giving type, where they're nervous to be selfish. Weight loss, I think, is an easy area to lead by example and to be selfish, because, we can see that. And so people understand, like, oh, Ashley's doing this. She's watching what she's eating when we go out, and they're not just like, oh, because she thinks she's better than us. It's like, no, it's because she wants to give more. She wants to do more with her life. And just like you said, when you start doing that, other people around you are probably going to start changing too. Let's dive into
Absolutely.
just your weight loss journey. Break that down for us into, we're starting to where we are for those listening. We've got tidbits of it, but like start bragging, start telling people where you started, where you got to, how you did it.
So I'm putting this out there for the world to hear. It is the most uncomfortable, vulnerable moment that you're all going to hear. So I started at 317 pounds. It's been about 3 years approximately. And like I said, I was. So my weight loss journey. I started at 317 pounds. It's very vulnerable of me to say that. But it is what it is. And I was miserable. I couldn't bend over to tie my shoes. I felt like I couldn't even walk from my room to the front door without being miserable. My sleeping was terrible. All those different things. So I just felt like I was at a dead end again. Like, oh my God, how am I here again? And I didn't know that like at least a year, I think it was about a year could do that to you. So, anyways, I decided to do something about it. I signed up for First Form and joined the non-standard and got you as my coach. And then I went to the doctor and had my labs ran, started really looking into what was causing my issues. Of course, thyroid issues, some insulin resistance, and low cholesterol, and just a bunch of different things. Like, the doctor told me, I really don't know how you're going. We need to start working on this. I've never had a doctor explain things the way that she did to me. We both cried, and that was it. It was like, okay, let's do it. So I started tracking my macros. I started doing 45 minutes a day. I started the 45 minutes a day about 2 weeks after I had lost about 14 pounds. Of course, initially that's water weight. You're going to lose water weight first. And that's not how it goes throughout the full entire journey. So don't expect that. Who knows? You may lose that fast throughout your entire journey. I don't know. Everybody's different, but this is what happened for me. So I did lose 100 pounds. I ended up gaining about 20, and then 14. And then it really helps if you go to a doctor that has those new weight loss machines where it tells you your muscle mass, all those different things, because I have been gaining muscle. It's not all actual fat pounds. And that, what if you're doing cardio or if you're doing strength training.
You got me. Cool. So yeah, Ashley, what I liked what you said about your journey is a lot of people are very concerned with, this is the only way I have to do things when I do this. I can only eat this. I can only do this. I can't eat that. But what you talked about was good to hear, because you talked about, I tried this. I tried that. I tried this. I didn't like it. I did intermittent fasting. I changed that. And so it's very comforting I think for me and other people to know, like, hey, macros isn't too scary. It allows you a lot of flexibility. But what you did is you continue to make adjustments as you went. And then the last thing I'll hit right now that I really loved was, losing the weight is usually the easy part. It's the next part. Hey, how do I either maintain it or keep going forward or control where I go after that? Like once I lost my weight, it was my control now to gain weight, gain muscle, lose fat, and fluctuate that throughout the year. So talk about how that's been, I guess, cool for you to be able to do, right? For you able to be like, hey, I got here. Now I get to sort of play with strength training, resistance, cardio, and see how that all affects my body.
To be honest with you, It's pure frustration. That that's gotten me to where I am now. And I say that because, to put a little humor in it, whenever I do something, I want it to be on point, successful, making my statement. I want it noticed. And I just got to this point where I'm like, okay, I am not moving at all in the scale. You people can keep telling me the scale does not matter, but I'm telling you now, I am not seeing this number anymore. And so I said, I don't care if it kills me. I am going to do this. So the frustration is that aspect of it. I just want, whenever I'm wanting to do something, that's what I'm going to do. And I don't care if it kills me. So, anyways, the frustration of it has led me to be open-minded. And I watch videos, I watch videos of people that do exercises. I come across these GIFs everywhere of saying, try this X amount of times a day. I'm like, okay, well, I'll do that too. Let's add that in. And then, right now, I'm training for this certification. So that's given me a little drive. Heck, join your challenges at work. With Edward Jones, they do different programs, health programs, where you get discounts on your premiums. And so why would you not, try that to see if that moves you, because it's a different type of program. It's a different movement. It's a different style. Your body, as a massage therapist, I know that you have muscle memory. And so eventually your body becomes accustomed to that specific thing that you're doing. Your body's going to get used to the treadmill 2 miles a day. Your body's going to get at level 6 or, whatever. Your body's going to get used to X amount of reps, X amount of sets at this weight. You have to increase your weight, or you have to change the movement every once in a while so that your body can say, oh, what are you doing to me? It kind of like psychs it. Like reverse psychology, but for your body. And, just different things like that. Like I said, videos, podcasts, watching other people, seeing what they do, reading books. A lot of books can give you different ideas to help you. But ultimately, it is the frustration for me that pushes me to try something different, because I'm not getting to where I want to go. I'm impatient. I got to remember, it's God's time, it's not mine. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think you hit a couple good things there, just like you have every time so far. It's been, people don't realize the marathon is full of sprints. So the marathon is to live a healthy, long life. But in that marathon, there's all these tiny sprints that we're doing, and we're changing it up as we go. We're running this way, we're running that way. You talked about it on yours. You're doing different challenges, different workouts. You're trying different things. A lot of people look at the end result, and they may get a little frustrated at where they want to get. But when they know they're making these small adjustments at one step at a time going there, that's what's going to help. And most people, and I've said this before, they focus on the win, W-H-E-N, instead of the win, W-I-N. And so they always have to think in the back of their mind, hey, I need to focus on the W-I-N. I'm going to do it. I don't need to know when I'm going to do it, but I know, just like you said, God has it planned out of when it's going to get done. So I'll let him take care of that. I'll let him take care of when I hit that goal, when I hit that milestone, when I pass that mile and a half. I just got to do it. And that's one thing most people probably have a hard time doing, is just doing it. So, what tips and tricks do you have for everybody at the end? And then if you have a book, usually I like to bring a book onto the show.
The book that really has changed my my outlook on life and was a real eye-opener for me. This is going to go mostly for women. It may go for men too. I'm not really sure, but it's called Uninvited. And it really puts into perspective how not everything is about you. Like, a lot of times people will take literally not being invited somewhere, or not being asked their opinion or not taken somebody's advice, they will take that to heart and they feel like, okay, well, what's wrong with me or whatever have you.
I just want to follow up with this episode and conclude it with Ashley. We had a hiccup at the end, but she was able to finish with her book. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And just like I tell most people, if you didn't take notes, I'm going to be disappointed. I have 2 pages of notes, usually on every episode. All you have to do is save, share, go out there and just spread the message. Spread the message on what hard work is, what dedication is, what leading a life of a purpose is. And please let me know if you liked it. Give me some feedback. Enjoy your day. Go out there and become a better leader.